What is up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We're back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom and become the rock star agent in your market. And we have a great guest today. This is someone that I was introduced to by a previous guest of the show, Barry Kozier, and so you may remember him. But he introduced me to a great guy named Edwin Dearborn, who runs Premier Lead Systems, and we had one of the most entertaining podcast prep calls I've ever had, and we laughed it up. And we were talking about marketing and sales and agents and a little bit of venting. I'm going to be honest, there was a little bit of venting involved, but that's okay. But we're going to talk about why no one gives a shit about your brand. And we're going to talk about the real role of marketing and sales for real estate agents. Yeah, I'm feeling,
loopy?
I got plenty of sleep, but I feel like I didn't sleep, so I'm a little loopy, and I may cuss more than usual.
Oh my God!
My co-partner and co-pilot in all things real estate related is here with me, Greg McDaniel. Greg, what's up?
What up, Johnson? Edwin, welcome to the show, my friend. This is going to be a great show. We already got Matt to say shit, and it's not even a minute deep. You know you have a profound effect on this man when you can get him to cuss, so I deeply thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. Everyone who watches this show is thanking you right now, either live or recorded. I want to remind everybody, guys, this show is sponsored and brought to you by Get Now Business. It is our month-long program that Matt and I have put together for you guys. No door knocking, no cold calling, only a $500 budget or less. We can get you leads within 90 days. Go to Get Now Business now, and you can sign up for it. So on that note, Matt, back to you.
So Edwin, let's officially bring you into the show. Edwin Dearborn.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So give people kind of an idea, just a little 60-second bio on who you are, where you are, and what you do.
Great. I'm the CEO of Premier Lead Systems, and what we do is help business people and realtors, small brands and large brands to generate unique and actionable leads. Unique meaning it's unique to them. They're not buying the leads. We're building a sales funnel for them specifically.
Now, describe unique. Now, unique can be something like, you want only attorneys, or you only want school teachers or something like that. Is that specific, or is it more broad?
It can be that specific. Like I'm working with a company that sells annuity products, and they only go after teachers. So we market their annuity products to teachers, and that's it. So when they get a lead, they know that it's a teacher, that they can sell a very specific type of annuity product that is designed for teachers.
I want only people that are really interested in buying or selling real estate, and they want it today. Could you fill that order, please? Because that would be super fantastic.
I think one day Facebook and Google will figure that out.
That might actually be true, and that will be the day that they start a real estate company and put us all out of business.
Oh God, yeah,
amen.
No kidding.
And that day's
all
coming.
Right, so there was a question that came to my attention on the lead gen inscription objections Facebook group that I wanted to bring to all of us that we can riff on in these first few minutes. This is from David Garcia. He says, I'm revamping my tracking for 2018, and I was wondering, what do you use to track your daily numbers? And if you guys have examples of scoreboards that you use to see where you stand every single day with your business goals. So let's start with you, Greg. So we've talked a little bit about it. I don't think we've ever shown it on the show, but you have a tracking sheet. All the people that went through Rockstar Prospecting earlier this year got that tracking sheet. So tell us a little bit about that.
Guys, there's a sheet that the Grandmaster made up a couple of years ago, just purely because he wanted to really see inside the sales funnel, how what it took, your numbers, how many attempts, how many people home, how many direct appointments, how many future appointments, and then through different percentages and conversions and everything else, like how many days a week, how many weeks a year, how many months out of the year, what your split is, what your average price is, and a few other factors. We can identify with a very close accuracy of exactly what your future potential income is going to be. And that thing will motivate the living shit out of you. Because when you look at it and you say, hey, if I just add one more hour onto my day, but if I do, let's say you, Matt, since you've had triplets, those little wood denting obese little babies.
My fictional kids.
Yes, fictional kids, little obese bastards.
Okay.
But let's say you just don't have any more time. Well, what you can do is you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever percent better at your conversion rate without having to put any more time in, and you see your income go through the roof there. It is a hell of a motivator for you, for your spouse, for your broker, for your team lead. And if you're the team lead, this will help your team on the downline or downline team members, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, that's what we use, and it's amazing to watch how if you are consistent, your income can go from 0 to through the roof, and you can validate your time. You can say, when I'm prospecting, when a coworker makes fun of you or picks on you saying, hey, why are you doing this type or this type or this type of prospecting? And be like, well, dickhead, because this is what my hourly value is for door knocking, cold calling, networking, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So it's a self-validation, and it's a justification for putting the work in. So it's incredibly good.
I remember taking one of the agents in that class through this exercise, and I think she was in a higher price market, but it made a $300,000 a year difference 1 hour of prospecting. Mm-hmm. So Edwin, what for yourself or for your clients, what do you recommend when we talk about tracking? That way you know where your clients stand, and you know where you can help them, like kind of increase those percentages, like Greg said, to get better results.
Yeah, great question. I think there's two basic things that I use and recommend. Number one, do you have a CRM system? Mm-hmm. And as you know, these CRM systems have great analytics built into them. So the moment you become consistent and semi-proficient with your CRM, I think you start to get some insight like, oh, look, this email got more opens as this one did. So, like I found that if I have an email that has how-to in it, it gets more opens.
Yeah.
Right. And I've just noticed that by watching, 50 emails over time going, interesting that if I talk about this topic or I use how-to, I get more opens. I get more click-through rates. Then I can see who's engaging with me, and I can reach out to those people and say, hey, are you, you've opened my last 50 emails. Are you looking at buying some marketing? Well, yeah. Right? So with a realtor, you can start to track that. And I know that you both of you are a believer in that of, who engaged, call that guy and just stay in front of him, pursue. Number two is, I think just a general statistical management of just quantitative, like how much did I earn? And, staticize it over, over the weeks or over the months, as well as the sub actions that lead to the sales. I think everybody looks at the money, but they don't look at like, well, how many leads did you generate to get that money? And they're like, I don't know how many leads I get. I just need to get leads. And they don't track the sources of those leads. I track every time I get a sale, I ask, or I get a lead, how did you find me? I log it so that I can know where to place my budget and efforts. I had one lady I did this with, and she was spending 80% of her marketing budget on those things that were only bringing 20% of her leads. She never did an analysis. And when we switched it and we put the money where the money was being made, right? We had an increase of about $500,000 a year in sales simply because we just switched. Yeah, simply because we switched the budget to the things that worked.
Yeah.
Wow, that is impressive. That. A $500,000 increase just from taking a look at your spreadsheets, your P&Ls. That's impressive. I mean, what's the one thing you found for agents not looking at their or just even creating a P&L versus looking at it? I mean, is it because real estate agents this is playtime for agents? This is kind of like, I'm going to dip my toe in the pool, see if it's wet or if it's warm or not? I mean, what's the deal?
I think there's a lot of, this is my opinion, I think there's a lot of celebrity feeling about being a realtor, and they just think that this branding magic is the law of attraction, right?
Yeah.
And I was out at the St. Louis Realtors Association speaking to 100 realtors, and I asked them, raise your hand if you have really good knowledge of the St. Louis real estate market. Oh man, I've been doing this for 20 years. I know the market really well. Okay, raise your hand if you give great customer service. Oh, Ed, I give the most impeccable customer service. Okay, now raise your hand if you run this thing like a business and you've got so many leads you don't know what to do with. Not one hand went up. I said I would come in not knowing the market, giving nominal customer service, and I would crush you guys in sales simply because I would put in the business systems, and I would outmarket, and I would outpursue, and I would outdo everything else business-wise without needing that product knowledge. And that's the difference today.
You know, it really is. I mean, today I was listening to a podcast two days ago when I was out walking and getting some exercise and stuff, and it was Gary Vee and Tony Robbins. And me.
So, you know, let me use a lightweight podcast.
Just very surface content.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Some newbies.
A couple of newbies.
I don't know why I'm listening to those clowns. But, I mean, being dyslexic, I don't, on the fingers typing something out can be really a pain in the butt. Really a pain in the butt. And Tony was saying that what he says is he sends voicemail emails. So a light bulb in my head goes on, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to do this. And I found a system called Voice Recorder. It's an app, guys. You can go download it for free, guys. You can go record voicemails and then send them out via email. You can upload them to almost anything under the sun. And I sent these out to over 677 people today from all my viral leads. I've had 3 people get back to me with follow-up, and I'm the first one to admit that, you know, Edwin, I'm one of the rank and file agents. I suck at it, and I don't do it very well. But when I do it, guess what? It works.
Right.
You get people to call you back. Imagine that, right?
Well, and there's a lesson there, which is I remember being at Viral, and one of the struggles that we had was, Edwin, we did exactly what you talked about, which is that we would send out the content. Viral itself would provide a report of who interacted and who engaged with the emails, and they would send the agents a report of exactly who they should call back based on who is interacting with their emails. Mm-hmm. And then that report would go into the black hole, never to be seen or heard from again. Right.
Right.
And that is, and I think it's a symptom of the problem we were talking about before we went live, which is, and you alluded to it earlier, which is the branding magic, right? So agents expect this sort of branding magic and the law of attraction, but what they're really looking for is they're expecting people to pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, I'm ready, let's do something. Now, the other part of that is they also expect the people magically to call them back 2 to 3 to 4 times to let them know that, because, of course, most agents are horrible at returning answering phones and picking up their phone. Now, I'm not saying I'm better, but I'm intentionally that way.
Yes, you are. You intentionally don't pick up the phone.
I intentionally do not pick up the phone.
Which actually, I don't leave in voicemails anymore. I'm like, screw that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just type something to them.
But anyway, so we actually expect people to not only call us, but we expect them to repeatedly call us while we ignored their first couple of phone calls. And that's really where most agents are coming from, and it's why they don't have more leads than they know what to do with. It's because they don't handle the few that they have well already, and then that doesn't turn into referrals, and then the whole 9 yards kind of goes from there. So let's talk about, like, what is the right way to think about lead generation when it comes to an agent?
Okay, I think the first thing is our world in the last 10 years has changed so dramatically and so fast that I think it's done a flyby by most realtors. Mm-hmm. It's just they still kind of are operating in this old think of how it worked.
Interesting.
And I tell them, you guys aren't in the present moment, because if you go to an airport or a Starbucks, what is everybody staring at?
Their phones. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous.
Depends on who else is in the line at Starbucks.
Sure.
Right.
But mostly the phone.
Or maybe you're staring at her iPhone.
Yes. Yeah. That's the story we're sticking with.
Right.
That's a mighty nice case you have there, ma'am. Ooh, nice and firm.
Exactly. Okay. So, but back to the point, which is, I tell people that this is the remote control of life. Mm-hmm. I can order food. I can find everything I want. I can get a movie. I can book a hotel. I can book a trip around the world. This has got more memory data. This iPhone 7's got more memory data than all the computers that launched Apollo 13.
Wow. Yeah.
So do you see what I'm saying? So if I can't find you because you're not in my Facebook feed, you're not in my email, you're not in my YouTube search results, you're not in my Google search results, you've just brand mistake number 1. You're obscure. Obscurity is the number 1 brand killer.
Yeah.
So you've got to be, as we said earlier before the show, as my father would say when we go fishing in Montana, hey Eddie, he called me Eddie, you got to fish where the fish are. That's that's how you catch a fish. and you got to give them the bait that they want to bite on. So today's world is very much the same. We got to give them the bait, the content, and really what a brand needs to focus away from is the egocentric, look at me, I'm a celebrity realtor. No, you're not. You're not. Sorry.
You're so deadpan when you say that. With certainty in your eyes. Like, no, you're not. Seriously, you're not.
Yeah. You're not. You're not the guy on CNN. You're not the guy on the reality show. Okay. Yeah. Those guys have people begging for them, but there's only a few realtors in that category. So what you're going to have to do is brand the lifestyle of the area that you represent. And now that's where the stories lie. And so if I was going to become a realtor, I'd become the digital mayor of my town. As I forgot who coined that term. I think it was Gary Vaynerchuk that coined that.
Yeah, I was thinking of him or Seth Godin. Yeah.
Yeah, it
sounds
was like
about right.
Become the digital gatekeeper of your area. And so talk about the schools, interview the restaurant guys, almost like start a reality show. And I tell people YouTube is the largest reality TV channel in the world. So why don't you jump in that, start your own reality show, take those videos, and now because you're in the know, man, Edwin knows all the restaurants. He knows the places to party in Vegas. He knows where we can go shooting. He knows where we can, get a good show. Like Ed understands Vegas. So if I ever want to, and he's telling me all the reasons why to move to Vegas, no state tax, lower cost of living, et cetera, right? Well, if I'm doing that in an energetic way, the brand now becomes Edwin is the guy that's going to hook me up in Vegas, right? Versus Edwin standing there trying to be the celebrity, and it just smacks of egotism. And people really don't like egotists unless they are an egotist themselves. And but they want a lifestyle. And if you can show them how to access that lifestyle, you're going to build a brand much, much more easier and more effectively about being the guy that understands the area.
You know what, Matt and I've talked about this, and I am 100% on board with you, Edwin. I talk about how people can have a $140 budget a month with 4 different videos that they can put out and sponsor for $5 a day for 7 days. And it's one about an influencer in the area. So like a
interview,
like a politician, a mayor, chief police, captain of the fire department, city work, something like that. Then there's a principal of a school. Then there's a local business, like a chef or entrepreneur or a new shop or whatever else. And then there is a buyer and seller wants and needs video. I mean, if you consistently do this stuff, and then you have those business partners push it out onto their Facebook feeds for the same amount of money, for the same amount of time. You're throwing 2 pebbles into a pond now, and those ripples are going to overlap. And as you say, you become the digital mayor. You will drown out anybody else that's out there because no one else is doing it.
Exactly. And I'll give you one success story. 2 weeks ago, I had a realtor who's been struggling for 4 years, just barely making enough transactions to justify being a realtor, which unfortunately is a lot of people out there like that.
Yeah.
And he said, Ed, I don't understand this. I'm 55 years old. I don't get it. I didn't grow up with this. Help me out. So I said, okay, what we're going to do is we storyboarded. We took the top 16 questions that people ask them all the time. What do you hear are the questions? And I just wrote them down. And I said, good, we're going to do a video and we're going to answer every question that you hear all the time. So I said, what's the first question? He goes, why should Californians move to Las Vegas? I said, great. So we bold pointed it out, and he did a 3-minute Facebook Live. Now, I want you to get this. This is he's sitting there going, what button do I push to go live? That's how newbie he was.
Okay.
And he's sitting there in the Keller Williams office on a $30 tripod with his iPhone 5.
iPhone 5.
He now has a 7 because I made him get a 7.
Oh, God, thank God.
But
how dare you only have an iPhone 5?
Yeah, it's up there with the pterodactyl and the Edsel.
Yeah, exactly.
But get this, iPhone 5, never done a video before, asking me which button to push. I put it on there. Within 1 minute, and I'm not exaggerating, within 1 minute of him doing his first Facebook Live, and I'm telling you, it was like, hi, my name's Bob. I'm a realtor. It was like, it was painful.
Mm.
A girl that he had done business with 20 years ago called him literally as we were done, and he's like, hi, well, I haven't talked to you in 20 years. She goes, yeah, I just watched your Facebook Live. Why don't you come out to Phoenix and see if we can do business together? He drops the phone going, I believe, right? But wait. So then the girl says, you know what? I'll share your video to help you out. So she shares the video. I am not exaggerating. Within 5 minutes, he gets another phone call going, hey, I just saw the video my friend shared. I am moving from San Diego. Want to cash out my house. I want to buy a house in Vegas in a couple years, and I want to buy it cash. Can you help me?
No, I don't accept all cash.
Yeah, exactly.
Not one bit.
I don't roll out of cash for cash.
And I just said, look, you just did the dorkiest video of the year on an iPhone 5, and you've generated 2 leads in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? If I had told him that was going to happen, he would have thought that I was selling voodoo.
Probably.
But when he saw it actually occur, going, holy wow, it was like, okay, when are we doing the next video? Let's upload it to YouTube. Let's get my email going. I mean, it was like the light turned on. And I said, that's how business is being done these days.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's hard to believe. I think YouTube only has been around for like 11 or 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it was 2005 when it really came out, 2006. I mean, it's unbelievable to see how fast time has gone. And Edwin, to your point earlier on, I think you nailed it straight on the head. It literally is like the real estate industry and the average agent is a human being standing on the sidewalk, and a Ferrari went by them at 200 miles an hour, and they're like, what the hell was that? Oh, well, that's probably pretty cool. And they kept on their way. Right. But then they come up to the car. They're like, oh, what is that? That's pretty damn nifty. I don't think I can know how to operate that. Then Edwin comes along and goes, here are the keys, man. I'll give you the instruction book. Let's go for a test drive. And I think I never really thought about that. That's a really good insight into this. A lot of the things that when I'm doing my coaching, and like I said, you and I are so in line on this, is that people are petrified of video. Matt and I live on video. I mean, this is like a fishbowl to us. We just like fish and water. We love it. But I mean, when I force people, and I make a lot of people cry when I coach them because they don't want to do it, and I just basically jam it down their throat and tell them, like, either you do it or get off the phone with me. Don't waste my time.
Right.
And then they do it, and then they get hundreds, if not thousands, of views on their first video. And just like your guy, like, bing, like, I now understand. Mm-hmm. And it's incredible to see that aha moment when people do this, because now it's like, okay, now you can help yourself. Now you can fish. Now you can feed yourself. Now you can generate your own leads. You don't have to go to Zillow. You don't have to go to Truly. You can be your own fisherman. You can turn the faucet on. You can turn it off, all depending on what you want to do and when you want to do it, right?
Totally. And, and you can, and the great thing about video, first of all, by the year 2020, okay, 85% of the content consumed online will be a video. Facebook has predicted that within 5 years, all of their content will be a video. And I want you to get that. All.
I thought it was going to be a high percentage, not all. Wow,
but
that's impressive.
In 5 years, they're saying that all the content will be a video. So even if they're a little bit wrong and it's only 90%, as I tell the realtors, I go, do you want to fight for the scraps at the 10%? Or do you want to be where the 90% of the audience is?
Yeah.
So the future is already been predicted. It's going to occur. The writing's on the wall. So every day that you avoid being on video is every day you're antiquating your brand.
So you're getting one more gray hair every single day that you are not doing a live video of some way, shape, or form. And by the time it comes around to fruition in 5 years, you're going to be Father Time and not, the person that someone wants to do business with, because it's like, you have a clamshell phone? Ooh, no, we don't do that.
Right.
No one does clamshell phones.
Right.
I downloaded this thing about social media content and I was going over it, different ideas and different verticals you can go into and talk about. What do you do, Edwin, when you meet someone that is father time and does not want to go on video at all?
Mhm.
How do you break the ice with them? What's that baby step to get them into that first video to make that aha light bulb come on?
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I tell them is I go over some statistics with them and I just say, this is the future. You can't avoid it. And I said, uh, you're either going to adapt or you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the two paths, right?
Mm.
I mean, what's the name of the guy that went to the Galapagos and
Darwin?
Darwin, thank you. So Darwin, everybody thinks that Darwin was about evolution, but really what he found was the species that survived were not the strongest, which is he's been misquoted. It's the ones that adapted. Okay?
Interesting.
It's not the strongest that survive, it's those that adapt survive. So you're either going to adapt to this new way, and I literally, I've taken guys down to Starbucks and airports and go, look at whatever, and they're like, oh my gosh, now that you're pointing it out. And without being too creepy, we look over their shoulders, and half the people are on Facebook.
Without being
They're
too
on
creepy.
Facebook, without being too creepy. Like, what are you looking at there? Like,
No, this isn't porn. I'm not looking at porn.
Not everybody is 6'5" like Greg. Greg can just stand in the line and see what everybody's looking
I'm like,
at.
oh yeah, over there.
Yeah. So, but I tell them, you're either going to adapt or die. Now, if the guy absolutely refuses, then I go, you have to find somebody who's going to be your spokesperson, your buyer's agent. Find somebody that will represent the brand for you, be the spokesperson. And if they're a solopreneur as a realtor, then they're screwed in that regard. But if they've got a team and the owner is just like, no. Okay, good. Get one of the young pretty girls, make her the official spokesperson of your brand.
Smart, very smart.
Good. I like
very, very smart. One of the things that I do, and I'm sure you do it too. I call it someone's special power, and it's something that someone knows how to do better than anybody else. It can be cooking, raising kids, math, riding a bike, scuba diving, chalk painting. It could be anything, right? Mm-hmm. And as they make a series of videos about that special power you have, that superpower, but I want you to put a header and a footer of, hey, this is Greg McDaniel with the McDaniel Callahan Real Estate Team. Today we're going to talk about blah. Hey guys, thanks for watching our video about blah. Remember, this is Greg McDaniel with the McDaniel Callahan Real Estate Team. Give me a call if you have any questions about real estate here in the area. My next video is going to be about blah. Look forward to seeing you. Right? And that way they can have confidence going in doing videos. Once they start getting, some accolades from doing it, then they're more apt to step into that deeper water and go out of their comfort zone. Yep. And then just the progression takes place. All of a sudden they're like, this video thing is nothing. Why was I so afraid of this?
Right. I think that's actually a beautiful approach because you're getting them on a gradient to begin with something that they're comfortable about, which kind of eases them in the shallow end of the pool, and then you go, okay, now here's the deep end of the pool. We're actually going to talk about real estate in your area now. So I think that's a great way to acclimate somebody by having them start with something they're familiar with.
Something I always tell myself on a consistent basis: everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. So push yourself to that. It could be something super, super, super small. Do a couple of live videos just to yourself, just to see how you look. Look, I know everyone thinks they look horrible and they sound worse. I get it. I understand it. But what people don't get, Edwin, and I know you believe this as well, is that you could be a purple elephant. It doesn't matter what you look like. If you bring value to someone's life, then you become the Messiah on the second coming. It doesn't matter what you look like. And everyone's so self-conscious because everyone is always being judged on social media. You're pretty, you're ugly, you're handsome, you're tall, you're fat, you're in shape, everything else. You can be a morbidly obese human being who has the worst acne, but if you got brilliance pouring out of you, people don't care. They will come to you for knowledge. They will come to you for service.
Hey, look, there's some people that actually make a lot of money being ugly.
I have so many jokes. I
I mean, they
Are you talking
always,
about like the tall Kardashian? Like, who are we talking about here?
no, I'm just talking about there's these character actors. There's character actors that always play the bad guy, or they always play,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
the bad Nazi, or they play the
Bad
mobster.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're pigeonholed themselves, and they've
Mhm.
got this kind of grossness to them and this ugliness, but it works. So my
Yeah.
thing is,
Mhm.
they've as an actor, they've owned like, okay, I'm ugly, I look mean, but I'm going to make money with this.
It's like, man alive, I hope the next 10 years are just full of Viking movies. Like, that's my only shot. Got to have a lot of Viking movies.
Well, I think that's a good point, though. I mean, there is the actor. He's actually a huge, very philanthropic individual. He was actually an ex-criminal. If you guys remember who he is, he's a Hispanic gentleman. He's got the huge chest tattoo that he has on, but he's got pockmarked face, and he's
Talking
always
about
the
the
bad
guy that plays Machete.
Yes, Machete.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, it's Machete.
Yeah.
But guy, he's never going to be GQ Man of the Year.
Yeah.
No.
But he owns it and runs it and has a massively large heart and helps a lot of people, but knows where he belongs. So if you guys can understand where you belong
Mm-hmm.
and then be willing to accept that and run with it and let your freak flag fly and let everybody know what you stand for, dude, people are going to love it because you're authentic, you're real, you're owning your personality, you're not trying to be someone else and fake. They will come to you because of that authenticity.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they'll respect you a lot.
There you go.
Because of doing something that they're afraid to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that right there is the key to all content. If you can bring real value, and I talk in my book that value is probably one of the most abused words in marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can bring real value and be authentic, people have got this little antenna and they pick it up. And they're like, you know what? Okay, he may be a little dorky. Maybe he's a little odd in some areas. Maybe his politics are a little whoa, but he's real and he tells the truth. And so I know if I work with him, he'll always tell me the truth. And that's what I really want. So
Yeah.
I agree. Own who you are and just put it out there.
And Teresa Shoemaker, girlfriend, I know you're watching, and I'm talking to you. She's the one that went out there, did her first Facebook Live video, crushed it, got tons of accolades, and now she's doing more. So, and the Facebook Live, knuckles to you, and the audio, well, you don't get knuckles. But well, I'm saying how it is.
Oh man. Okay. So let's talk about let's go back to the marketing side a little bit and talk about unique and actionable. So in terms of like the goal is to create leads that are unique and actionable versus what else is kind of out there in the marketplace, and why are people going after leads that aren't unique and they're not actionable?
Well, I believe that a lead is not a lead.
Okay.
Right? The lead is judged by its age.
Okay.
You know, when did you get the lead?
Right.
5 years ago? Or did you just get it 5 minutes ago? Number two, what was the source of the lead? Well, it was referred to me by my very best friend who's very wealthy and only hangs out with millionaires. Oh, that's a hot lead. Well, where'd you get this lead? Well, this business card flew into my car. And I called the guy and I said,
you
want
gotta
to
stop driving by strip clubs. That's
right. Right. And I called the guy and he said, yeah, let's meet one day and have coffee because maybe I'll let you do my real estate. So each numerically is one lead.
Right.
But what's the quality of this one lead compared to that one lead? So what I tell people is it's not just the number of leads, it's the source in which we derive the leads from. Okay. So if you understand technology within YouTube and Facebook, we can identify the factors of, look, typically I sell people over 50 years old who already own a home, who, like Austin Martins, and you know what I mean? They live in this zip code, and I've got them kind of triangulated. Now I'm putting relevant in context content in front of these people so that when they respond, and they can respond several ways, they can comment, they can fill out the form, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can call me. I know that because I did my due diligence in the content creation, in the audience targeting, that I'm dealing with someone, who is more likely to make a purchase. So I think there's a lot of homework in making that lead unique and actionable.
Yeah, I agree. It's that reminds me, and this is a little bit off topic, but it's something that you and I have talked about behind the scenes. I'm
Yes.
curious because of, I mean, now that I've been up here and I see your stomping grounds, I've seen the clients that you're selling to. I've sat at the Starbucks where the kids are rolling up in BMWs and Land Rovers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're kind of a car guy. Like I'm looking at all of you.
Yeah.
Like you've got the vehicles that you want and that you already own, and this.
It's called a yacht. It's called a yacht.
Yeah, it's a speedboat yacht. So I'm curious, like, why you don't do more content about like Mercedes and like the high-end cars that would get interaction from the people around here that actually drive them.
You bring up a fantastic point there, Johnson. And I just thought of that. I can go where I bought my S550. I can go talk to them, and I can talk and highlight cars for them, and it will be a brand distinguisher for us. A car, a highlighted option for them. Oh, I think I heard something.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, Edwin, if you were going to run Facebook ads, you could run Facebook ads that are geo-targeted. You can run them by income. But let's say Greg meets let's say you went back through the annals of the McDaniel Callahan team and you said, okay, well, this guy, I remember this guy. We sold him a house, and he was like a member of the local Porsche club.
I actually did an interview when Periscope first came out a number of years ago. I was at a local restaurant, and they had the Walnut Creek Porsche Club. And I looked at them, and I'm like, oh, this is so freaking unnerving. I didn't know what I was doing, but I chomped over to the nice looking Porsche, and like, ding, 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 ding. Excuse me, sir, can I interview you about your car? He's like, yeah, man, let's do this. I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. Click.
Okay.
And I did the interview, and it went fantastic. I got tons of reactions, and then it went so well, I never did it again.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
It was so effective that I decided to never duplicate it ever again.
That's right.
Oh, God, why would you ever do something that was actually productive?
I know. Well, why would you take one thing that works and turn it into a system?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We don't want a system. We want to grovel.
Yes, I want to get my ass beat every single time I go prospecting. Please put me in the town square instead of actually just going to do a video.
Don't worry, I'll kick it in the nuts after the show.
Let me take that car spin because Matt, you bring up a good point.
Okay.
So Greg takes his passion, he goes to the Mercedes dealership, and he says, "What if I create content and help you tell the story, and I'm the host of the show?" And they send that video out to their guys. And by the way, Greg is a realtor, and you assist them in their marketing. See, now you're becoming a media company who, by the way, just happens to be a realtor.
Yes, that was something that you caught my eye with that, or my ear with that when we talked on the phone the first time, because that's exactly like when I think of me and Greg starting a real estate team, that's exactly how I think about it. I think in terms of we are a digital media agency like that happens to sell real estate. Like that's how I think a real estate team needs to be nowadays in order to compete in the marketplace.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be, because in reality, that was a differentiator, and it actually is something of old. Let me just give you an example. So before the internet, and
I don't remember
Facebook,
such a time.
Yeah.
No, of all people, I remember. Sorry.
In those ancient days when the phone was on the wall.
Yeah.
How did a realtor differentiate themselves in their farm before the internet? Like, how did they get their brand awareness?
Brandon, it was mailers. It was door knocking.
A lot of pictures with dogs. Pictures of dogs.
Yeah, it was events.
Community
events.
Was networking.
Being out there.
Bus shelters. You had the benches. I mean, being on the bench was kind of like you made it as a realtor.
So funny story about that, Edwin. When I remember when I was growing up, our Safeway, our supermarket here in Alamo, our main market, before they remodeled it, like they had probably 4 foot tall, 5 foot tall section, and you could buy big signage that you could see, right?
Mm-hmm.
My dad started with one sign, he had the entire wall at the end of it. You could be anywhere in Safeway and see Terry McDaniel's grinning face. And that's what gave him, we still get told today, hey, I saw you guys in Safeway.
And that was how long ago?
20 years ago.
Yeah, another one of those things that won't work so well you stop doing it. All right, go ahead, Edwin.
Right. Now, so no one's looking at the bus benches or the walls of Safeway because they're doing this. They're staring at this.
Yeah.
So I tell people, it's the same strategy that's been around for decades, except where the attention is in a different location. If you didn't move your bus shelter ad over to Facebook, that's the problem.
Yeah, 100%. I've always had a question, like, nobody looks up, like the human nature. Nobody goes, oh, look, there's some ads up there probably somewhere, right? Everyone's down, like you were talking about. Why are the floors in Safeway not covered in ads? I mean, I'm serious.
That's the future.
Why are the ads not straight down? I just don't get it. But yeah, Edwin, you're right. I mean, it's all on the phone, man. It's all on the phone.
It is. And, you know, I mean, I've helped so many brands just when you get them to look and finally confront where we are as a species and what they're looking at and what they're doing, and you just get them to go, shut up, be quiet, and watch mankind for an hour.
Yeah.
And you just get them to look, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is not the way it's been. I said, okay, well, it may be a sad state of affairs of our society. As a marketer, this is called an opportunity.
Right.
And 90% of your contemporaries are not doing it. This is your competitive advantage.
Oh, quick little thing. I just got a message, guys. My McDaniel challenge person canceled on me. Literally just got a message. If any of you guys want to do a McDaniel challenge right now, today, be the first person to either Facebook message me or send me a text. I'll put you in the slot for 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today. That just came through. I wanted to let everyone know. Also, Edwin, check this idea out. What do you think about this? Let's say someone wants to go old school, right? And they just want to do something tangible for an ad for advertising. There's some place that I believe is the world's most overlooked marketing opportunity ever. And it's the inside of a pizza box. Because when you open that thing up, boom, it hits you like a ton of bricks. And you're at parties, bam, it's sitting there open. You don't close that lid. That lid stays open. You know? Why are we not marketing on the inside of a pizza box? I mean, that's like a postcard that never dies. Especially if you advertise to college kids. That shit will stick around for months.
So this is what I would do. I would go to the top 4 or 5 pizza places, particularly that serve wealthier neighborhoods, and go, I will pay for all your pizza boxes if you let me print my brand on the inside. So what's $1 a box? You go through, 700 boxes a month, right? But they're delivering pizzas up in the hills where all the wealthy people are eating pizza. Right?
Yep.
I think it's worth a try. I mean, some people may get a little turned off and kind of go, come on, man. I just want to eat my pizza. Now you're like putting your, but
depends on what you put in there.
But I think what you put in there is, like me on Facebook.
Yeah. Follow my community page on Facebook. Join my community group.
This goes back to the egocentric thing because if the only thing you have to say is me, then you do have whatever it is, whether it's them opening up the pizza box and seeing your smiling face, or whether it's a bus bench ad or a Facebook ad. If it's egocentric, if it's not an irresistible offer to them, then people will get irritated. But you have to step outside of the egocentric part.
I think one of the things that you could do is help me cure children's cancer or whatever your thing is, right? Help me raise awareness for St. Joseph's Hospital. I bought this pizza box. For every $1 you donate, I'll donate $1 brought to you by my realty company. And I would, you know what I mean? I would do something like that where more of it's like, or probably a great thing is, feed the hungry. You're having a pizza.
Yeah.
Did you know that there's 20 million children in America who go to bed at night? I want to end child hunger. Join me. And it's like, pizza and child hunger. You're the
Donate your leftover pizza to Poor Kids. I love it. All right. No, but that is good, and there's always a way to tie that in.
We're
Right.
here to combat child obesity while you eat pizza.
I love that combat child obesity.
Oh God. Please get more vegetables on your pizza next time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the meat lovers, though, man.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Yeah, but I love that. Well, let's get back. Let's finish it out with by talking about systems a little bit. So once you find something that works, right? And we had a question here about, what does that mean that Facebook ads are a good way to find leads? And again, it goes back to your definition of a lead. But Edwin, when you find something that works, right? So when a realtor stumbles onto something, they get that positive feedback. What's the next step for them to say, okay, number one, how do I figure out what actually worked and what I can duplicate and repeat over and over again? And how do we actually turn that into a system that we can do it? So it's not a one-time, like one of the biggest problems I see, and this is with whether it's real estate or marketing or speakers and consultants and coaches and whatever, it's like we wake up every day to a blank sheet of paper, right? And growing the business is basically just this smorgasbord of options. We have nothing that's built in or structured into our day.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do we avoid that?
Okay, a couple points.
Okay.
I stumbled upon this many years ago when, I was first pitching digital marketing in 2007 when I went to work for a company that built websites. So I've been doing this for over 10 years. And I would go in there and literally I'd see 4 or 5 appointments a day.
Wow.
I did this for years. I mean, I was like, so I got the feedback of where everybody was. And usually the interview would be like this: Edwin, so tell me, what are you going to do to grow my business? And I hear that for years. And one day I had this epiphany. And this guy was like kind of getting on me, like, yeah, you're still not convincing me what you are going to do about my business. And I said, you know what? It's your business. Tell me what you are doing with your business. Like, do you have a written marketing plan and sales plan for your business? Because you're about to hand over one of your most important things, and you keep asking me and challenging me, yet you don't have the answer of how to grow your business.
Yeah.
So instead of me doing it for you, why don't we have this done together and we actually write out a written strategy? So from that point of epiphany, this is what I do when I walk in. Ed, what can you do for me? I go, no, hold on. Can I see your written strategy, your written marketing sales strategy that's got your processes listed out? 99% are like, we don't have one. And I'm like, so you don't have a checklist of actions to causatively, to proactively grow your business anytime you want it? They're like, no. I go, that's where we're going to start. So we're going to list this out. You wouldn't, chefs cook with a recipe. Battalion generals have a battle plan. They have maps. They have orders, right? They don't go into battle without orders and, at this time we do this and at this time, everything is synchronized, right? In battle. So I go, you're going into battle called business and you've got no thing. So what we do is we start to lay out, what did you grow your business? Now, a great way to do this is have them, instead of writing it, have them speak it, video it, and tell me everything you're doing, tell me everything we could do. Let's lay out the steps, and then take that video and have it transcribed, and then that begins the beginning of the system. And then we've got a document, and then we can add to it, edit it, and we just keep. And when I tell them, have you ever watched Belichick and Brady? By the way, they've won a few games.
just a few here and there.
Have you noticed that they're kind of
sense? Observe them from the outside?
No.
Just how they work together? What?
They have every single play on a sheet. The quarterback looks at his sleeve. He's got here. They've got it all mind mapped out, which is if it's 3rd and 8, these are the 3rd and 8 calls.
Yeah.
Right? They have mathematically figured out what play to call. Here's the choices. If you're at this down, at this yardage, these are the plays that have actually worked. Pass and, running. And Belichick's been doing this game for 30 years, and he's still looking at his written strategy of what, and this guy wins Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
So if the guy that's winning Super Bowls, who's been doing it for 30 years, is constantly referring to his written strategy, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
The scary thing is that 99.9% of us don't have anything written down. The reason why is there's so many voices in our ears telling us to go this direction, go that direction, go this direction, go that direction. My girlfriend Lily, she's a wonderful woman, but she has so many advisors talking to her, just like every agent does. It's hard to filter out the nuggets of wisdom from all the white noise. And it's like, if this person's super successful, but they're a high D and the other person's a high S, well, these two strategies are not going to work.
Exactly.
And so,
what I tell people, Bruce Lee said, I don't fear the man that knows 10,000 moves. I fear the man that knows one move who's practiced it 10,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's truly,
I'd rather just get 2 or 3 things and just do them so well.
mm-hmm.
Don't worry about but what about Twitter? You ever gotten a lead from Twitter? No, then forget Twitter.
No, I don't I honestly don't.
Right. But what
I don't
I'm
even know if I have an
saying
account anymore.
right. But what I'm saying is,
I'm more likely to have a MySpace account, I think, at this point.
right. But what I'm saying is I go, have you ever gotten a lead from a referral? Oh, of course I have.
Of course.
Okay. Do you have all your referral sources in your email database?
Yes.
Okay. Well, most realtors don't.
Oh, sorry. No.
I go, good. So we're going to start there. So you've gotten referrals. So we're going to put all your referrals in an email database, right? You're going to call your referrals and email your referral sources every single week. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, good. Strategy number 1, upload all referral sources, all past clients, email them once a week. Where else have you gotten business? Well, I belong to the Kiwanis Club. Good. Do you go to the Kiwanis Club? No, I don't. Good. You're going to start going. And we start building on things and capitalizing on what's already worked, and then add something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think something that's important that we're kind of heading on here is you don't have to have the newest, shiniest object. Yeah, so that's what all of us agents do. We chase down that object. If door knocking works, stick with door knocking for you. I mean, I've told this story a dozen times. There's a guy in San Jose. He's now passed away, older gentleman. He was in the business for years. Every stinking day, door knocked for 1 hour. Hot, cold, rainy, whatever, 1 hour. On bad years, he made $250. On good years, he made $850 plus. It's because he was the mayor of those neighborhoods. They knew him coming up the driveway. And I've door knocked those neighborhoods. Guys, this is not a pretty neighborhood. Okay, this is like cars parked on lawns, hoods up, weeds in driveways. Not the best neighborhood. And he think you make $250 by just going out and going, hey, how are you? What's going on? You thinking about buying and selling? Who is? That's all it takes. Consistency and persistence. Choose your poison.
Yeah. Right. And the thing is, see, he found something that worked for him, but he kept doing it.
Yes.
See, do you see what I'm saying? Like, he didn't do it for 2 weeks and go, oh man, this is hard. Squirrel, what's that shiny object? And he's over there, And then 2 weeks later, squirrel, oh, but what's over there, And squirrel, and I've actually used that example. But realtors are like, oh, I'm a total squirrel guy. Yeah. I was off on this and blogging, and that didn't work. 4 weeks later, then I was off on an email. Then I went to a lunch and learn, and it was all about Yelp. So then I got involved on Yelp. Then 30 days later, no, you need to be on, and they're just
all over the place.
Thousands of incomplete actions.
Yeah. And they're the carcasses of good intentions that are left in your wake as you plow forward. And eventually you're going to run out of all the shiny things. You're going to go back to the basics, being like, man, why didn't I do door knocking? I've been doing door knocking my whole life, and this works. It's because I did blah. But let's say you go back to door knocking. You can still take your phone, right, and you can implement video in the neighborhoods by highlighting the neighborhoods while you're doing your core process. You don't have to do either or. That's what I mean.
Exactly. And here's the other thing you can do. Here's my plug. Do your core process and then find experts who can add core processes that will do it for you.
Yeah.
So you go, good. I'm going to hire a guy like Edwin, and I'm going to spend $400 or $500 a month while I continue to door knock.
Yeah.
to see, and then start develop these leads. And guess what I can do with those leads? I can knock on their doors.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
we do Rockstar Connect is a company that I use for networking events.
Okay.
And guys, if you want to do networking without having to do the legwork for networking, dude, hit me up. I will give you the information on this. It is epic what they do for you. But like what you were talking about, Edwin, Rockstar, they send me a box with stuff in it for events.
Wow.
And they set it all up. They arrange everything. And then while I'm doing my core stuff, they're doing another core thing for me. So then I go there. Then I take out my phone again and I highlight digitally.
You have your own phone. You can
I know, but it's plugged in.
Oh, okay. Great.
It's just easier grabbing yours.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, what's funny, Edwin, as I've interviewed some of the top teams around the country, and it's rare to find a team that has more than, I would say, 3 pillars of lead generation.
Right.
And we're talking people that are doing 500 to 1,000 to 2,000 deals a year. You will not find them dabbling very much. You definitely will not find them dabbling willy-nilly.
No.
But you talk to the average agent, and they're always dabbling, right? They're doing 5 or 10 things when the top teams are selling 1,000 homes a year doing 3 things.
And I'll tell you something. That what you just said in the last 60 seconds could be just a podcast in itself. Dabblers don't focus, and wealthy realtors master a few systems, and they go deep on those systems and they master them. So why don't you pick the 2 or 3 systems that you're going to absolutely dedicate yourself to mastering? It will take a while. What does it take to become a great golfer or a great motorcyclist or a great actor? It takes years. But if you put it in the work, you become really good at the motorcycle, right? Mm-hmm. And now you're really good at this. And so my thing is, and I've told people the same thing, we're going to take 2 or 3 things. We're going to take Facebook. You're going to get really good at Facebook because there's a lot of people there. And you're going to get really good at video, and you're going to get really good at email. And if those are the only 3 things that you are really good at, wow, you will get so many leads, and then you can build teams. Here's your Facebook team, your video editing team. They may be virtual assistants or hired outside sources like myself or like you guys, but they're part of my team, and they do this for me really, really well.
Yep. Yeah, it takes 10,000 hours on average to become a master of a trade. One of my favorite quotes is that never give up on a dream just because it may take some time to accomplish it. The time's going to pass anyways. And just start owning that knowledge fact that if you were to take a certain subject matter and listen to a book on it from 25 minutes to work, 25 minutes from work for a year, you would have the equivalent of a PhD in that subject matter. So if it's sales, negotiations, if it's, I don't know, whatever you want, right? Just pick a subject that you want to be really good at, go dive headfirst into this, and you will be a master of it, and not a jack of all trades. And I think we all suffer from that affliction of being a jack of all trades because we have so many people, air quotes, coaches, trainers, mentors, top agents going, you need to do this, son.
Right.
When you're sitting there going, but you like to golf. I abhor golfing. My ADHD kicks in after hole 1 and I want to go do something else.
Thank you.
I wouldn't even make it onto the course. All right, Edwin. So one of the viewers was asking if you were a coach. So I just wanted to clarify for everybody what exactly you do.
Okay. So what I do is we first assess where they've been, what they've done successfully. We write it down. And we go, this is what's grown your brand so far. You may be struggling, but at least you're in the marketplace and you're getting some sales.
Sure.
Is there any opportunities to exploit, to double or triple down on what's already worked? Before we go somewhere else, let's just exploit, and I mean that in a good way, exploit what has already worked. Number 2, are there known systems that you can involve yourself in or pay for that we know that works? Like my company. We can get you a certain amount of leads. Are you willing to pay us the money to do that? Okay, if you're not willing to do that, we also know that this is a known system. So build upon what already has. one of the definitions of strategy is the efficient use of resources. Okay? Your resources are the sources of your business. You can resource, source means where something comes from. Where's your business coming from? How do we resource efficiently and get more business out of that?
Right.
And I've literally had guys just write down every place you've gotten business from. They start to write it down, and I go, what are you doing to be proactive in that area? Like referrals. Do you ever ask for referral? No. Do you ever email to your referral sources? Do you send YouTube videos? You can take the link to your YouTube video and send it to your top 20 resources going, hey, can you share this video with your friends and family? I need referrals. Like, oh my God, I didn't think of that.
Mind-blowing.
What was there? There was a book called The Referral Machine. I think it's called The Ultimate Referral Machine by John Jantz. Anyways.
Yeah, duct tape marketing.
Yeah. He found, I read the whole book. This is the one sentence that just like, bam, hit me right in the head. Okay. You will double your referrals if you give your referral sources something that they can give to another person. Like a link to a video, a card, a cake. You have to put something in their hand, right? To then give to another person. So if I kept sending links of my educational videos to my referral sources, do you think I would get more referrals? Absolutely, because they'd be like, hey man, Edwin seems to know his stuff. Here, I'll just paste and copy this link. You watch it. Hey, my friend shared your link to your YouTube video. Looks like you know what you're talking about. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Because I gave my referral source something to share with.
They can pay it for it. It's not something like a Starbucks card. It's some piece of knowledge, something that they can share. Going, hey, look at this really cool thing. Like we have our buddy James Colburn who wrote the book called Re-Succeed, right? So send 2 of these books. Like here's a book for you. Here's a book for a friend. Give me your feedback.
Now you two do a lot of podcasts, right?
Just a little, a couple here and there.
We dabble. We
dabble. Okay. I'm going to tell you, you guys have already written a book. This is how Gary Vee wrote the Ask Gary Vee book.
I'm telling you.
He transcribed every Ask Gary Vee show, added whatever he needed to add, had an editor go through it, and he put it into a book. You take every one of your podcasts and turn it into a chapter of your book, or break it down by subject matter, and now you hand out your books going, I'm the author, I'm the expert.
You have not said that.
I have 2. I've been saying this forever. Thank you, Edwin. I've been saying this forever. I'm like, we just need to transcribe all our shows, and then
make it to an editor and make it a book.
Yeah, make it a book.
And now you're an author. And now you can give your referral sources going, here's, like, this is my book. Take, here's the book I wrote. And believe me, it's much more impressive when you hand somebody your book than your business card.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have a book in process right now that our buddy Glenn Twiddle, his editor, has put together for me. Looks great, and I cannot wait because when you get this,
it'll be the first time Greg reads it.
It will be the first time I read it. You get a book, and you sign, hey, really great to meet you. Thanks so much. I look forward to working with you, Greg McDaniel. Check it out. They're not going to throw this away. I don't care. Even if you're a monstrous dick, they're not going to throw it away.
Greg, you know what really hit me is I did the book, and for a number of reasons, and I remember this day very vividly. I met with somebody, and I gave him my book, and he goes, "Would you sign it?" And I was like, "Wow, I'm actually signing a book, right?" So he's like, "Yeah, make it out to me." And I handed it to him, and I just see the glow in his eyes, and he looked up at me, and he goes, "This is the first time I've ever met a real life author."
Really?
And I was like,
That's awesome.
I go, and he is holding on to this book like, I met an author. He wrote my name in his book, right? And that guy went on to refer me like 4 or 5 guys that year.
Wow. Awesome. We got to get that book in print now.
I'm working on it. All right. So Edwin, remind people of where they can reach out and connect with you.
Go to Premier with an E, premierleadsystems.com. You can also reach me at edwindearborn.com. You can go to any social media channel and type in Edwin Dearborn and you'll find me.
Yeah, and, it's an easy name.
Easy name. And you can get my book, Power Branding Secrets, on Kindle or Amazon.
Awesome.
Very, very, very cool, man. This has been an epic show, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't have time to we got so into the conversation that that we didn't have a chance to like give shout out. But Arne
wants to buy your book.
Buy that.
Yeah, so Arne's going to buy your book.
All right, man.
And Glenn Twiddle, actually, a coach in Australia who's a good buddy of ours and helps realtors, among other things, put out their own books, loves the title of this one, did a Facebook Live on this subject recently, totally agree. And then Francine asked, can you tell us how Rockstar Connect finds and targets people to go to the events?
Francine, reach out to me on Facebook, do a PM to me, give me your number. I will have a conversation with you. I will connect you with them. They are literally, it cannot get any easier if they tried. I mean, they literally cannot make it any easier for you. I figured it out. That can tell you something.
Yeah.
So
and we're going to start working with them. Can I divulge this? Sure. So we're going to start working with Rockstar Connect to start throwing events for you guys, for us to hang out with you guys. So in mainly our core markets, so San Francisco, San Diego, LA, Orange County, and
San Diego,
maybe
and
Central Coast.
Central Coast, yeah, Central Coast. Yeah. So Stefan, we're coming to you, homeboy. We're going to do the rock stars and wine idea we've been throwing around with you.
What about Las Vegas,
dude? Viva Las Vegas!
Drive.
Let's go. We got
it's a great excuse to come out here, right?
Do we need an excuse to go to Vegas?
Nothing like hookers and blow. Let's go.
All right.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
No.
Okay.
Well,
no,
that
being said,
Vegas would be a lot of fun.
Rockstar,
Edwin, if you want to be connected with these guys, I'd be happy to connect you with them. They're super awesome.
Great.
They'll go anywhere in the country.
Yeah. Love it.
And guys, so let us know, guys, if you're in like any of the major markets in California, or if you are in, let's say, Dallas, Chicago, New York City, or Florida. We want to hear from you guys. If there's anybody that you know of where you can connect us with, let's say your team leader, office manager, broker, whatever, that might want to send agents to an event like that, or just wants to get involved and help facilitate something like that, let us know, reach out to us. We're kind of putting together the agenda of where we're going to go and when we're going to start holding events. So let us know that the demand is there and where we want to go. We'll try to tailor it to the demand that we get from people. So reach out to us, follow us on Facebook. Do not friend us. Follow us on Facebook, both me and Greg. And then reuncensored.com is the website. Go to getnowbusiness.com for the course. The newest session in October starts on 3rd. I believe it's the first Tuesday in October, and we go every Tuesday morning through the month of October for that class. We have a blast teaching that. And that's it. I think that's all we got.
Yeah, guys. Get Now Business, go take a look at it. It is what helps us fund this show. If you guys like this show, help us fund this bitch. All right. Edwin, you're amazing. You're a godsend. You're Christ in the second coming. To the rest of you guys, peace out, ninjas. Be gone.